Okay. Sorry. So a little bit long, I should have told you that beforehand, but the idea of worship, yes. Pardon? Oh, muted again? Okay, just 1 second.
Are you able to hear it? Oh. There. Give me 1 second. Go back to my screen. This works for some don't find it useful at all. But it's a perspective, right? The idea of how great God is. Again, some like it, some don't. Take it as you will, right? But what are we doing? I've never used this in my class, by the way. I've never used this with my Sunday school. But the idea of the greatness of God, and are we teaching our kids how great God is, right? And if this works for your kids, you could use something like it, or you could use this, right? Just again showing the magnitude of God, right? Again, I've never used it. I've only used it in this class. But what are we doing to really impress upon kids the greatness of God, right? And we can do it if we go on a retreat, right? Through nature, through the beauty of the world around us. What are we doing to show God's worth, right? What lessons are we doing? What are we bringing in to show God's worth so that kids can truly worship and truly worship the greatness of God, right? Keep that in mind. Any questions? All right, let's take a quick break. Let's do 5 minutes and we'll come back and we'll finish up. All right, let's do 5 minutes. Back. Was it something that you found useful? Was it not useful? Would you, what do you find? I get mixed messages all the time, and I want to know what your thoughts are. Yeah.
I think the point of the video needed to be highlighted a bit more. The fact that we are here for a purpose small. The God that created us. Look what else He can do, but we're still here and put us here for a reason. And I just think it needs to highlight why it is that we show this video. Why I'm not just telling you that you should feel small. I'm telling you to see how great God is and what He's created.
So starting with the context. Okay. Yeah.
You should have used different examples. Like you focused on the one example, which is catering to like one type of person.
Yeah, if you're a science person, you'll find it interesting.
And
Right.
he talked about like a major character change, let's say Moses or something.
Yeah.
Or, like splitting the Red Sea, stuff like that.
Yep. I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. It's like the video, like we're missing most of the context, so we don't understand like what he's actually trying to argue. This small clip of the whole video.
Yeah, there is more. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
I also think that this particular video is a lot more that like someone can interpret it. So also see this like not just like look how great our God is, but like look how small we are and we still care.
Yeah.
And so I feel like we guys to like ask them how to like interpret this in the
Yeah. It is a little too long. Like I want to find a way to make it a little shorter. I don't know how. I don't know which parts to take out. Like exactly. Yeah. Like I wonder if I just show the beginning and then just the end where it shows like that part because it is too long. It is too long. I felt taking it out, but then I didn't for today because it is something like it does show the magnitude of God. This is a good job of that, but there's just too much talk, right? Yeah, maybe I'll give it to my kid. Can you know the kids know how to cut these things down, take the middle out. Maybe out of the stuff, then my homework, make it a little shorter. Yeah, there's some that just find it useless, or some that don't like it at all. But again, it does only pertain to science, astrology buffs, people like that. If you're not into that stuff, you might not like it at all. So like also know your audience, right? And yeah, the problem with something like this is you'll probably get just the science kids interested, and the rest won't care, right? Which brings us into the question of, you know, how do you know your kids, and how do you make sure they give examples that will attract them, right? We need to know our kids, and this is okay to show, again, too long. It's okay to show a clip of it, right? But what are we doing for the other kids, the ones that like other things, right? You know, are we, you know, if there's a, you know, the kids that like basketball, the kids that like hockey, the kids that like cars, the kids that like fashion, what are we doing to incorporate them into our hooks or into our things like this to make sure that, because the best hook is the one that attracts, you know, like is based on their likes. Those are the best hooks, right? The ones that draw them in, right? So you keep that in mind. The rest of, I don't need this anymore. We're going to go through the design portion now, and we want to go through a few different things. Okay, right. This helps us kind of guide how to get to that, right? And I want to start by a strategy that this is a teaching strategy, right? That we do in teaching. It's called a professional link cycle, right? Because again, in Sunday school, look, we're teachers, right? We're teaching the kids, right? And so I want to consider this idea when we are teaching our classes, the idea of a professional learning cycle. And they do these in business as well, in corporations. But we, you know, we took it upon as teachers as how to improve my teaching practice, right? And the idea of my hook, my look, my book, and my took, I plan my lesson, right? I plan it, then I act. The act is actually do the lesson, right? And I give my lesson out. I go through that half hour or 40 minutes, or whatever it is for the lesson. I act it out, and then I observe. So either I observe, or the other servant can observe my lesson, right? And go through what worked, what didn't work. I thought I was going to knock it out of the park, but the kids didn't like it as much as I thought they would like it, right? Or it did work very well, right? So you observe and then you reflect, right? After the observation, the notes that I took after the lesson that I thought this worked well, but it didn't, or it would have been better if I did it this way, right? I reflect and I go back to my plan and I improve, right? And the cycle should never stop, right? You should never ever give the same lesson twice. Never give the same lesson twice, right? If you look at my, I've been teaching this like this for what, 5 years now, I think, right? And every year, like, it's never, I'll take it, I'll tweak, I'll make changes, I'll see what I want to do, right? But you never want to take a lesson from last year, blow off the dust and give it again. Why not? Why don't you give the same lesson twice? Why? Even if it was a great lesson, why not give it twice? What could be the reason? Yes. Your audience is different. Yes, it depends. That one of the huge ones is your audience is different. It can be the same. You could have done grade 4 last year, and then instead of moving up with your grade, they said go back to grade 4 again, right? And they have a bank of lessons, right? But the kids have changed, right? And it's a different group of kids. They may have different likes, different wants, different needs. Exactly. There's always something different to learn, right? You never ever want to take the exact same lesson and pro forma the way you did it before. There's always differences, right? There's times where I'll do a youth talk at a church, and then I'll get another church to say, come to a youth talk there, and come to this topic, right? If I take the exact same PowerPoint and give it to, there has to be some kind of change based on where I'm going, what I'm come out the same, right? There needs to be some kind of modification to what you did. All right, keep that in mind. All right, you never want to do the same lesson twice, right? And that's a huge thing when I do professional learning for my teachers, right? Because in the old days, teachers have their binders. If you, I don't know how old you guys are, but teachers have their binders. And the teachers that weren't the greatest were the ones who had their binders, and they just flip through, pull out the lesson, and that's the lesson for, it's the same, are you teaching for, what's the term? Are you teaching for 25 years? Or are you teaching 1 year, 25 times? Right? What are you doing? Right? And so you want to make sure to always adjust and always change. And the rule changes year to year. The highlights change, the examples change, right? So you want to make sure you change it. Okay, vision. So about vision really quick. Youth ministry, if youth ministry is to be effective, it must have a clear picture of where it is going. Right? A vision is where I'm going, where I want to see myself. Right? Where I want to see this thing going. Right? We'll talk really quickly about what a vision is. Right? A purpose statement to make disciples. That's our purpose. Right? The vision statement is that which grips the heart, and I'll explain what that means. Right? So our mission is to make disciples. Our vision is something that grips the heart, and I'll give you some examples. Right? We're going to talk about models that will come together. Then we have models and visions. All right? The vision grips the heart. The vision is where we want to see ourselves going. Right? The vision is what we want to see in the end. Right? The model is how we get there. And I'll explain. Right? On a daily basis to reach our vision. All right? Our vision so if our vision is to make disciples, we have visions, and there are models that get us there. Page 104 and 105 in design. Let's go to that really quick. So this gives you examples. Remember we did our 10 models, right? So a few of them. So incarnation model. The vision is to reach each young people for Christ and see them integrated into the life of the church. That's the vision. If I do my job right, if I teach and my youth ministry is working properly, every single child that went through my curriculum, right, are for Christ and see themselves integrated into the life of the church. Right? That's my vision for all those kids. Right? The family model to build strong families in which parents fulfill their role as a primary spiritual influencer in their teenagers' lives. So that's a vision. I want that to be the end product. Right? In this model, right? Where all families, where the family in which parents fulfill their role. Right? That's my vision. That's what I want to see in the future. Right? That's what I want to lead to. Get to give a direction, right? You can read them all there. There's a few more Bible-based. For young people who understand the Word of God and live by its principles, right? That's my vision for the kids. I want my kids as disciples, right? That is my mission. Part of that is a vision statement where I want the young kids to understand the Word of God and live by its principles. That's my vision. So I want to see them after the year or the 12 years that they're in my Sunday school curriculum. Get the idea? Do you understand that? Yes, no? If not, stick with me. We'll get there. A world where everyone has a decent place to live. That's their vision statement. It's not their mission. Amazon, to be the Earth's most customer-centric company, to be the place where people can come to find and discover everything they need, might want to buy online. That's not their vision. That's not their mission. That's one of their vision statements, right? That's what they want. That's where they want to see themselves. That's where they're reaching. All right. So Peel's Peel's mission statement. Again, I work for Peel. Their mission is to, infuse success, confidence, and hope in students. That's their vision. Success, confidence, and hope in their students. All right. This is the vision. One of the visions to prepare each student for a successful future as a lifelong learner. That's one of their vision statements. Right. In order to create success, confidence, and hope, one of the visions is that each student is prepared to be a student for a successful future as a lifelong learner. Yes. Yeah.
Is the mission statement basically like the learning goal, and then the vision statement will be the
Success criteria.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you. So you're a teacher then?
Yes.
Got it. All right. We'll move on. So again, so you can see that this is not the vision statement, sorry, not the mission, but it's one of the visions that we want to put through to our kids. Aims and objectives. Stick with me. We'll get there. Aims and objectives, right? A vision statement is an example of an outcome, But before it can be reached, there are a number of steps that must be achieved along the way. All right. These steps are represented by aims. All right. And aims are often integrated into the vision statement. Aims are not how-to statements. Okay. It'll make sense in a minute, I hope. Our vision is to prepare each student for a successful future as a lifelong learner. That's a vision. I want, when the kids graduate from high school, we want them to be lifelong learners, constantly striving for more knowledge. How will I do that? How will I actually do that, right? I'm going to create places to learn and work where staff and students are happy, recognized, and fulfilled, right? If I can do this, that'll help me create lifelong learners, right? Engage all students and staff to achieve the high expectations of the peer board, right? I'm not going to write down a curriculum. I'm not going to teach the lowest. I'm going to teach for excellence, with the idea that this will encourage students to become lifelong learners. Make sense? Is this starting to make sense a little bit? Offer all students a range of learning programs to help them discover their passions and potential. And the idea this will help them to become lifelong learners. Right? You see the idea here? Right? And becoming lifelong learners will help them to achieve success, confidence, and hope. Because they need this to be a lifelong learner, to get success, confidence, and hope. All right, make sense? So those are aims. The strategy is the actual how-to, right? So the aim is what we intend to do. A strategy describes how we will do it. So for example, how will I create places to learn and work where staff and students are happy, recognized, and fulfilled? If I just say to staff, do this, I got to give them the knowledge of how to do it, right? How will I create places to learn and work where students and staff are happy, recognized, and fulfilled, right? Do I create curriculum where kids see themselves in the curriculum, right? Where they see people like them in the curriculum. We've done a lot of work lately on marginalized students, right? Where we've done a lot of work recently on Black excellence in the curriculum, right? Do the Black kids in the class see Black excellence in the curriculum, or is it all just old European white men that they're learning about, right? Because if I can create Black excellence in the curriculum, I can create places of learning and working where staff and students are happy, recognized, and fulfilled, right? I'm recognizing them, right? So that's the how-to, that's the aim. The aim that fulfills this strategy, that fulfills this vision, that helps us reach our mission. All right? So when we do our Sunday school classes, if I want to make disciples, what are my vision? And I can have more than one vision, right? But in order to make disciples, what are some visions, right? What is my vision of a student when it comes to the Bible? Right? I read you an example of a vision, right? Do those kids truly understand the Bible, right? And do they understand that they can learn from the Bible and how to read the Bible with understanding? And if they don't understand, do they know to ask questions? Do they know to research? Or if they don't understand, they just move on, right? Is one of my vision statements that the children, it is one of my vision statements personally, to read the Bible with purpose. My vision is that all students, all kids in Sunday school, learn to read the Bible with purpose and not just read it, right? Do they have a study Bible? Can they go into the notes and read something they don't understand? Do they know to ask the servant or the father of confession if they don't understand, right? So if my vision is that they read the Bible with purpose, what are my aims and what are my strategies? What am I doing to help them understand how to read the Bible with purpose, right? And that happens over multiple lessons. It's not just one. All right, but you understand kind of what I'm talking about now? It's the idea of we have to have strategies and aims and vision. So we have to direct the learning, and we are on a path, right? Because I can't have disciples that don't read the Bible with purpose. It doesn't work. There's others too, right? That's what I'm focusing on today, right? Right? They can't not have the Bible as their rock if they're going to be disciples. It doesn't happen, right? So there are multiple visions, but in each of those visions, what are the aims and what are the strategies, right? Again, this would be a great, for a servant retreat, this would be a great activity, fantastic activity, right? If making disciples is my vision, my mission, what are my different visions? What do I need to see those kids have in order to make them into disciples, right? You can choose 2 or 3 or 4, you know, and decide what we're going to do and how is our curriculum going to lead to those vision statements. Get it? It's a little fun activity. If my vision is to be physically fit, that's what I want, right? Talk to each other, give me 3 aims and some strategies to fill those aims. If my vision is to be more physically fit, all right? What does that look like? And what does physically fit mean? Start with that too, right? So if I want to be physically fit, give me 3 aims and then at least one strategy for each aim. Go. People at home, same thing. Figure that out. What are 3 aims and some strategies? And again, you can and often have more than one strategy for each aim, by the way. There's often more than one strategy for each aim.
Find what works for you at home.
Get a membership to this strategy. At home they're doing it? Doing it at home?
You don't need to be general. Okay, so a physically fit individual can be something. That's what a general is. You can't specify, but I think we can define our aims generally.
Okay, increase physical endurance. That's a great aim. And give me a strategy. Where are you times a week? Yeah, well, yeah. So yeah, I was going to say that no, that's not. Well, so I would say to you for that one again, it's kind of a silly. Like we're not talking about. It's about if you say endurance, going to the gym. Does it help me if I go to the gym and sit there all day? I'm not really doing physical. Like, what am I doing in the gym to increase? Like, because there's physical endurance and there's strength, right? So yeah, so I go to the gym and run 45 minutes every day. So that's a specific strategy that'll increase my endurance, right? Going to the gym isn't specific enough, right? The strategy has to be specific. This is exactly what I'm going to do, right? To reach that aim. And remember that visions are things in the future, right? I want to become this, right? And the idea with the children is they're at a certain level now, and I want to increase that level, right? Again, their ability to read the Bible with purpose, right? It's a future statement, and here's what we're going to do now to help with that future goal, with that vision. Because again, vision is a future thing, right? This is where I see us being sometime in the future. And you can set a goal. Is it a 1 week goal? Is it a 1 month goal? Is it a 1 year goal? What is my goal for this vision? All right. Give me a strategy and an aim, or an aim and a strategy. Okay. Sure. So resistance training 4 times a week to help build to build muscle, which will only become physically fit. Excellent. What do you got?
So I think we covered a bit of what we do. So we said our aim is to be healthy.
Good. Yep.
Our strategy is to meal plan.
Mm-hmm.
Use healthier alternatives.
Amazing. Amazing. So, oh yeah. What do you have from home? What do we got? More protein, more. Okay, good. Excellent. Yep. Good. Okay, excellent. Here's what I came up with. Yeah, so you got them all. I came up with diet, cardio, and strength. Those are my so diet, cardio training, and strength training. Did I put in visions? Oh, I didn't put in vision. I didn't put in strategies. So so the strategies for diet again, like what am I cutting out? What am I eating? No more fast food, or I only cheat on weekends where I eat fast food. You can decide what the strategy is, right? To have a better diet, right? Cardio, do I run once a week, twice a week? Do I walk? Do I do stairs? What am I doing? What are my strategies to build my cardio? And then my strength training, right? Do I do resistance training 3 times a week, right? And again, remember, buying membership is a great strategy, but one thing we have to do as part of this whole thing is to reevaluate our strategies, right? Yes.
I don't think it makes much sense to have specific strategies, but more generic.
Say more. What do you mean?
So in the sense that it might make my strategy, I'm going to lift an extra 5 pounds at the
Yeah.
My aim of being stronger, at what point can I say I've reached my goal, or, because it just seems, just be strong. I don't see why I should have a very specific strategy if I should just be strong. I just say, just go lift weights at a time.
So you kind of stole how I was going to end this. You stole my thunder a little bit, but that's okay. I won't hold it again. I won't be upset with you. Because the big question is, what is the finish line? Right now, we want to switch back to service and switch back to our kids, right? And the real question is there a finish line? Will we get them? Will there be a point where we can say, I'm done, I'm finished, it's perfect? Or when I reach that goal or I reach that vision, do I repurpose the vision and continue more, right? And what I want to get at is we want to have we want to have visions, we want to have strategy, or aims, we want to have strategies. Knowing that if we reach that in the service, all that means is we change the bar, right? Service, like if I look at my own life, because we take our own life and we want to use it for ourselves as well, right? My walk with God, is there a finish line? Is there a point where I say I'm good, I've reached my goal, I'm done, right? Or is my goal, you know what? I've been going to church late for the last 10 years. My vision, my goal is I'm going to go to church before the raising of incense. If I do that, am I done? Of course not. What's next? What am I adding to continue to fulfill? Right? And it's the same thing with our service. If I get something right and the kids are actually performing or reaching where I want them to be, from the back and say, good job, servant, or do I up the bar? Right? So it is important to have a direction, but it's also as important to continue to change that direction if I'm reaching a level where I think that, okay, I've got this part good. The kids are really good now reading the Bible every week. Am I done? Of course not. What's next? Right? And a lot of us have like I will tell you that the best thing that we can do as servant leaders, if you're, you're the one that does that for the kids, the idea of having servants follow kids from pre-K all the way up to grade 12 is phenomenal. It's such a great experience because it allows us to change the goal of those kids as we continue to grow with them, right? And if we're taking on a class for the first time, it's always a good idea to ask, what are they struggling with? What do I need to focus on with these kids, right? Where do you see me having to really focus with these kids, right? Because we want to set things with purpose, right? We want to make sure that what we're giving the kids something that they need to help in their growth, right? Because physical fitness, there's no finish line, right? Like, there's never a point where I'm like, okay, I'm physically fit enough. There's no such thing, right? You reach a bar, you try to exceed it, and it's the same. So yeah, you're absolutely right, right? But what I'm saying is that we do need to make sure that we constantly, like a professional learning cycle, we're constantly looking and changing and improving. Make sense? You're welcome. Thank you. It's like I planted that. It was very good. It is 25 after. Creative ministry, we'll talk about next week. And creative ministry, you can read about it, but creative ministry basically is, what do we do for the artsy kids? And how do we do something that's more creative, that might help the kids that are more artsy, and for everybody? Because creative ministry is actually really, really fun. You can do great things with creative ministry, and we'll do a little thing next week. That's creative. We'll do a little, we'll do something called a tableau. We'll learn about it next week. That's creative. All right. Next week is our last class. We're going to be going over. Sorry. Okay. Creative minute. We'll go over this next week. Creative ministry. I'll show you this video for next. This video I'll show you next week about giving your best to God. This is what's left, I think, and a lot of these are really quick. All right. So this is what we need for next week. And again, some of them we'll go through quickly. We're going to spend next week mainly just doing some stuff, doing some fun things next week. All right. So yeah, make sure to be here. It's our last week together. We'll do some fun stuff. All right. Be prepared that when you come in, we're going to have to move the chairs because we need the space to do some fun things. All right. That's next week. All right. Thank you, everyone. Okay. See you. For this